How you doing, everybody? Good morning. Thank you for coming. So this was good for me, too, because it got me out of the dormancy of website building and marketing for the last 5 years, other than doing it for my own businesses and helping everybody that I possibly can. I'll give you my background on this. I went to Penn State, electrical engineering, got out, worked in the school districts, putting networks in when there was no networks. I think it was my third year at Penn State. I started doing web graphics and web pages, along with downloading every MP3 you could on BearShare. That kind of got the internet going when we had dial-in modems. And I started doing graphics and animated stuff, like when people didn't even know that existed. And every doctor's office at Penn State wanted me to do their website or their graphics. And my dad found out. He's like, you either got to finish your degree or do web. And I picked my degree, which was probably the mistake at that point in time, because this was in '96 when the web.com was just coming on. So that's where I started, got into education, worked at Upper Gallatin, went to the IU, did help them with their marketing and schools' websites and stuff, and then started a marketing company called Stone Road Media that we focused on the outdoor industry, because our passion was hiking, biking, kayaking, hunting, fishing, anything you could do outdoors. And within 3 weeks, we had 57 clients, because no one understood what they needed to do, and they are all banging heads, and everybody in that market is fighting for the same real estate. And they thought Facebook was the only way. Like, I got a like and I'm winning, and it was not like that. We were pitching content and SEO and stuff that these guys never heard before, and they thought we were ridiculous. And we would get done with a 2-hour presentation, they would say, so how many new Facebook likes am I gonna get? And I said, that's not the way it works. And I have a case study about that too. But so then sold that and opened up Jolt Bike, which was totally a whim. I'll tell you how it ended up happening. I do a lot of keyword research, and I love electric bikes, and I used to mountain bike race, and I was an electrical engineer, and I started putting motors on e-bikes, regular bikes, like old Surleys and that back in the, about 10 years ago. No, everyone thought they were magic because they had electric motors, and then I did keyword research, and I was like, my God, Europe is going crazy, and California is going crazy, and I said to my wife, I'm selling Stone Road Media and starting an e-bike company, and she thought I was insane. So, but it's more than just 2 wheels and an electric motor. The electric revolution's coming through. I'm actually going to work with Penn State on doing an R&D department for kids to start learning about DC motors and CTI to get involved with the electric revolution, not so much the just bicycles. But that's where it brings me today. The only marketing I do today, which is, thank God, is my wife's website and myself and a couple of my friends. I don't even do my mother-in-law's site. Wendy does it because I don't want that hanging on my shoulders, which was the best decision we ever made. But this is intense. Ashley and I were talking about doing maybe some small part series where we kind of sit at round tables and dive into different pieces that mean something to you guys. But I have a theory. We've proved it many, many times doing it for customers, and the company still exists. We bought the old state police barracks down here where UPMC is. We had the whole downstairs. The guys are still there. We did video production for Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel. It was awesome at that time. The problem is I was the outdoor nerd, and so was my team. So 18 hours a day with coffee, brewing, I was always on the computer, and it wore me out so bad. So I had to get out. If we can we go around the room real quick and just tell me your business and where you guys are from, so I can get a better understanding. But it's also good for us too, so we can see how we can tailor this training.
At me.
I am. You're like, you sat right up front. You sat in the worst place, so you're going to be used a lot.
Jennifer Silvis with Silvis Group. We're a landscape design, build, maintenance.
You used to do this stuff over there at that
We're
building.
used to being in the outdoors and all the different elements, and we're looking to enhance our social media and our online presence.
Okay. Do you have control of your online presence? Or is Silvis a larger?
Yes.
Okay, so you do.
Yes.
So you can edit the website and do your things.
Yes.
It's okay. Because that's sometimes people
We're
say.
getting there.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well introduce yourself again.
Again, because you have.
Oh yeah.
Thanks. I'm April. I'm with Washington County Council on Economic Development. We're a small business micro-lender. I cover 6 counties, so I went to Washington County, it's where you are. That's why I'm here.
Just 6 counties. That's good.
I'm Mark Rayful, I'm the Fayette County Economic Development Coordinator.
Kathy.
I'm Kathy from the Chamber.
So I got to tell you something. So she says, you're going to do this presentation. I want you to dive really deep into meta. I was like, you're insane. Like, that's like a whole different dysentery, you got to go through. So it's not a deep dive into meta. That was for Kathy. I was like, you'd all get up and just leave, unless some of you have been in it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I always get.
Hi, I'm Brenda Fike, and I work with the ARC in Fayette County.
ARC, you said? Okay.
ARC, yeah, we work with adults and children with disabilities.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Brandy Van Duzen, and I work at the Caring Mission Care, and we're in Fayette County mainly, and we do the surrounding counties as well in southwestern Pennsylvania.
I'm Karina Smithberger, the Funeral Advantage Program. I cover 8 counties, and I'm here because Ashley is tired of me sending her content that she can't use.
Well, so this benefits her also.
She'll
Good.
email me back and say, can you do so? And I'll be like, I can't. You fix it?
Yeah.
So she's not my assistant, so she suggested.
Here's a notepad.
That's why we do these classes, everybody always asks us questions.
Well, we'll get you.
Like, you can benefit from this. You might want to sign up.
I think that's going to be I think we should do content as the next one. But I have an example in here too, so.
Tiffany Raza with the Hilton Garden Inn.
Awesome.
Tiffany with Twin Pines Family Services. We're a foster care and adoption agency
Okay.
based out of Hopwood, but licensed all through Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Wendy Gaither with Research Marketing and Design. I want to be Steve when I grow up.
Oh, jeez. You better get a few more kids.
Lee Winterhalter, Fayette County Drug and Alcohol Commission.
Awesome.
Shelby Weaver, Fayette County Drug and Alcohol Commission.
Okay.
Kayla Lucasco, Fayette County Drug and Alcohol Commission.
Awesome.
I'm Cassie Armstrong. I work with Express Employment Professionals. We're a staffing agency. We staff for Westmoreland and Fayette counties.
Very good.
Hi guys, I'm Angela Corolla with Fayette County Housing Authority.
My name's Caitlin Jenkins. I'm here with Vitalink.
Was that again?
Vitalink?
Vitalink, okay.
My name's Elaine Mancini. We are not a big corporation with the old time fiddlers.
Okay, very good. You do the Fiddler Hall at the, okay, very good. We've watched some of this.
Terry Shawley, I'm with Shaw Dogs and Wardrobe. I'm the little guy.
The little guy, okay. Okay,
I'm Joyce Vesnack, and I am the owner of Cinder Shack,
okay,
the multi-vendor marketplace in Farmington, Pennsylvania.
okay.
I'm Lori Chapel with Ryan Victim Center.
What was that again? I'm sorry, the door.
Ryan Victim Center.
Okay,
Rita Smith of the Friend Victim Center.
okay.
Ashley with the Chamber. Kelly Brisbane with Go Laurel Highlands.
Kyle Likens with Domestic Violence Services of Southwestern Pennsylvania.
Okay,
Shannon Dealey, also with Domestic Violence Services.
awesome. Is it the new person that just walked in? So what is you get called out? What is your name and what business?
My name's Mary Kay Schreiner, and I'm with the Stonehouse Braddock's Ohio Public Vacation Rentals.
Oh, so you know Christine very well.
I do.
That's my girl. There's nobody has more energy than her.
I know, right? I sit next to her and work with her every day, and
Yeah, God bless you.
keep up with her.
God bless you. So the theme I'm hearing is a lot of service-based industry here, which I assumed it was going to be a lot of retail since they're always popping up and going away downtown. Maybe we need to do a retail one, but it's still the principles work the same, and I'm glad you guys are all here. Well, let's go to the next slide here before I get into that. So, unfortunately, you have just as much prep work before you get into a digital marketing strategy than you do implementing it. And you may all not be the people that implement the strategy. You may have, internal people that do it. They need to get on the same page. But when we talk to our clients back in the day is, selling is a service also. Who are you selling to? So, example, when I started Jolt Bike, I thought it was going to be a bunch of crazy guys and girls on full suspension mountain bikes, running single tracks at Seven Springs and doing races. So I went heavy on full suspension bikes. And that was not the right thing to do. My customer is 55 years and older, back on the bike trails. They want an easy cruiser for the rail trail with a step-through design, and they have disposable income. And it totally flipped me from my marketing of how I had to do it because I was heavy digital. Everything I did was pushed and geolocated within a 100-mile radius, and this is what I thought was going to happen. I had to expand. Digital's not the say-all. I do a lot with billboards. I do a lot with newspaper because 55 years and older, they like paper. I tell the vendors, we even print them ourselves. They come in, and they do the research. So when you see a guy walk in the door with a piece of paper, you're screwed for about a half an hour. They weren't asking a million questions, but the bike companies are now starting to provide paper again because they see the consumer. 85% of sales is 55 years and older back on trail. So I had to totally change how I marketed. Digitally was a little bit easier for me because it was less expensive, but print is not expensive anymore. And You would think that print is kind of dead. It's not. It depends on your age group. So you always got to say, who are you selling to? And be honest with yourself. And if you don't know, some of these tools will tell you. And then what do you tell them? Your content. Content is king. It's still today, content is king. I don't care what anybody says, content is still king. It's good blog post, consistency, sustaining it, social media posts, consistency, and being unique with it. That's hard to do because when you write content, and I'm sure you probably get some, Ashley, it's all over the place. And think about it. If I was speaking today about this and how to take care of your dogs and why my kids are at soccer, you'd be like, what is this kid talking about? Well, Google looks at your articles like the same thing. How unique was this? Does it solve the search, the person who searched question, and are they gonna like it and come back to it? Time on site, how long they read the article. Because if they hit an article and they're off your site in 3 seconds, it must not have been very engaging. And then Google has to answer to something also. So that's, what do you tell them? So your content is good. Competition, that's always the hard one. I did a talk to an entrepreneur group in West Virginia, and they came to the Grayson House, and it was 32 wedding photographers. This is gonna be completely awkward because they're all battling for the same real estate. So we talked about what made them unique, how they can work together, and how do you find out your competition, what they're doing. I mean, it's also, you're there to make money, so there's a business aspect to it. You can't all be happy all the time with each other. So what are your competitors saying? Maybe that wedding photographer is great at wedding showers and you're awesome at baby and portraits, Tailor to that, own that group, and then work on the rest. Everyone tries to go after the same stuff and they're all bouncing off each other, and then it comes down to word of mouth. Community, a loyal following. That's very hard to do, and it's all about content. You want to be a resource for these people to come back. Anybody can search a Google article on, how to change a tire on a bike that's got a flat. You're going to find 500 of them. So what makes you better than everybody else? And if they find that resources, are they going to bookmark that, and you're going to be now the community for them to always go back for that resource. Make it easy to buy your service. Do people, there's no retail much here, but I mean, checking out online and going through a e-commerce, anybody here do stuff like that? Or is it all, let's shake hands and sign a contract? Probably most everybody here. You have e-commerce? Yeah, you do a little bit. So not a lot of retail today, but so you're a little different. When I get into making it easy to buy is if you're going to a website and you want to check out, no one likes to do the 10-page checkout. They like to use Apple Pay. Do it very, very simple for them, the conversion, so you get it, because people bail real quick, and I'll show you how you can figure that out. Back to consistency. Unfortunately, social media, and I dive into this, is I'll go sometimes, right now I'm on dormancy mode because I'm not really open yet, but being consistent takes time. It's not easy, and you gotta stay up, and you gotta post, and you gotta get other people to help you, because if you really wanna grow, it takes a lot of time to do it until you get on autopilot. And conversion, sales, services, how you're converting, what is your metric? Like, what would make you happy? Getting contracts, right? But a lot of time, you're not gonna get there right off the bat. So you need to look at your analytics, and you look at your numbers and say, okay, everything I'm doing, and this is something with Go Laurel Highlands, I ask a lot of times at the board meetings. I'm on the FAPEN board, I'm on the Go Laurel Highlands board, I'm on the chamber board. So I get to put a lot of pieces together in our counties. But we all can go out and say, I had 400,000 impressions. Yes. And I'm like, no. How many people clicked? How many people commented? How many people shared? And impressions are feel good like likes. That's to me, because when you go to Google Images and I type bicycle, that's an impression when it pops up. It's nice that you showed up in that list, but did anybody click on you? So there's a false sense of security we always like to get into and see that impression number, but I really want to know your spend and what call to action it came to that got you a sale. So this slide, we could dive into more. The next one. So this is, let me ask a couple questions. So how many people have websites that they can control? Let's do that. Okay. Do any of you know what the platform they're built on? Like, is it WordPress? Is it Shopify? Is it Square? Anybody got WordPress? Okay, I like you already, because WordPress is probably the best one for any entrepreneur. Square, like Google, GoDaddy, you don't know any platforms, you just get in and take care of it, okay. And that's sometimes hard for you guys. I'll get ahead of myself. So, and a lot of people disagree with this. I have a couple case studies where people lived and died on social media. So 6, 7 years ago, people had everything on social media. They were on Facebook, everything was on there, their presence, their hours, never had a website. And the bad part about it was when Facebook or Instagram changes their algorithms, for example, this was a hunting and fishing company. They changed their algorithms, like they lost everything. They lost their page, they lost everything about it. If it would just had to do with outdoors, it was horrible, because when we would go to these big shows, you'd have companies come and say, we just lost everything because we were built onto there. And we would preach to them, well, you have your website to back up on, right? And we don't have website, Facebook and our social media. So I will always stand behind the fact that your website is your anchor of your business, period. When you look at social media, Google and all the search engines and everything online looks at you as a synergy of everything. So it wants to see, is this person really vested in what they're doing with their business? Because they want to serve this to a customer that you don't know you have yet. So they look at your website, it'll say good content, it'll say, is it readable? Because there's a lot of new accessibility options. Is it responsive to your phone? That's a huge one. How long does it take to load the website? That is huge. Is there consistent content on it? And do other people link to that website? So that's like your website in a very high view of it. And then it takes your social media, and it takes your, like the Chamber, if they have a Jolt Bike link on their site, it's a very trusted site, so that's a backlink. So there's so many, we could go so deep into this, but I'm trying to stress the importance of your website. Your website is your anchor. Everything you do should be linked to your website. Your videos should be linked from your website, because if something would go away, you still have all that traffic. Your website, to me, is like buying a piece of real estate. You have that in perpetuity. So we did some articles, and this was amazing, because when we knew the theories of what we were doing for content. We were content writers. We had, I think, 10 or 12 content writers in the industry, and then we had a bunch of video guys that would go out and video the content and then get it on Outdoor Channel. So we would write all these articles, and we knew how unique to do them. To get the customer to come down to a very unique article, and I'm gonna get ahead of myself, was very, very hard, because everyone just thought, like, I'm just gonna write an article about everything that I do. It was a waste of your time. And then get that to be found online was very, very difficult with these people. But we did find out that in the beginning, you spend more in paid, sort of to get your name out there, and you work on your content, and then once your content catches up, your budget on your paid will drop, because now you have this is working for you. You already put the time in. I mean, we would spend 8, 9, 10 hours on a blog article sometimes, run it through all the stuff and post it, and then cross your fingers. And then within 12, 13 months, it was in the top 5 or 6. And then we kept it up. We never stopped. And that now made my pay-per-click, PPC, price drop, because now these were always eating on the internet out there while I was trying to do something else. So I can't stress enough about websites. Do we have any question on websites or anything right now that you guys have or want to change? I don't want to get too deep, but I also want you guys to ask questions at all time, because that tells me which direction to go.
I have a question. So my company manages my website. I pay them a fee. They manage the content, take down anything.
A company or your company?
My company.
Okay.
So they manage all of the content, take down anything that's not relevant anymore, and I pay per month for that. I also have a link that I can go in and add content. Is that something that you think is okay or not? Because I don't really own, they're managing all that content.
So when you say content, is it like a blog? Sort of like, this is what we're doing today?
It's an actual website.
It's an actual website. Well, when I say blog just because it is. I mean, they're called blog posts. So, you go in and there's a news article about what we're doing today. They click on it and it's just its own piece. Okay. So that's very hard because it gets mixed in with everything else. Mm-hmm. Are you allowed? So are you responsible for? So you're relying on their website to do what you need to do here. Okay.
Yeah. I'm driving people to my website that they're managing.
Are you allowed to have your own site, or is it strictly?
Yeah, I'm allowed. I just don't know how.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a bigger talk. See, that's the problem. If you don't control your platform, you're bound by those constraints. Right. And when I say blog, I'm not talking like I had a great breakfast this morning and I went to sleep and had 9 hours. That's typically what a blog is thought about. A blog is more than that. It's your content.
Isn't it negative also, though, to remove content?
I was just going to say that. So if it's bad content, it shouldn't stay there very long anyways. But if it's good content, shouldn't remove it because it's already getting indexed. And then once Google sees that it went away, they start working their algorithm, and then you're already in their system and saying, oh, these persons just fly by night, their content's not staying. We never, unless it was a horrible article in the beginning, I never remove content. But I don't know what the system is they have on there, because putting a piece of content out just to put it out, it can hinder, it could be work backwards. So we need to know more about the website. I always tell people if they don't have a control, a lot of real estate guys will do this. They'll have X realtor, and they are allowed to have their own pages. So they'll start their own website. It'll be Steve Smolenski Realtor, and they start also double posting everything, and they put, this piece of property in Fayette County, and they'll write a nice article about why this would be great for a business development. And then they'll link to the actual listing, and they build their own following for themselves. Because then if they leave that realtor, which realtors jump, then they have their own piece of real estate in their resume still to go with them that they are a good realtor in Fayette County, not a good realtor just for RE/MAX or whatever it's called. So, but I don't know, a lot of companies have restrictions on whether you're allowed to have a separate page on that. Everybody else pretty much controls their website? Okay. Does anybody in here do consistent content? You guys do? Anybody else write bi-weekly blogs or bi-weekly what's going on, stuff like that? No? Just here? Go, Laura Hans does, I know that. No, okay. You do a little bit? So we have a couple. So that's it. Can I ask this question, even though I'm getting ahead of myself? Are you scared of content? Are you scared of the time? Or are you just not able to do it? All that. Well, since you're the only one to answer, what bothers you on that?
My first question is, so if we have like current events going on, I will eventually take those off.
Okay.
So you're saying I shouldn't take those off?
No, you can let those ride, but they'll go in the bottom. Unless you're not posting many current events, you could have, some people don't, and they have 2019 with a 2024 on top. Right. That shows consistency. Okay. An event's not as important if it's just like, we're meeting here at 3 o'clock. Now, if it has a little bit of piece with it, that's a different story. And if I was going to do an event, I'd make it more into a content piece, show it, when they click on it, they see something, and that lives in perpetuity for you. Are people scared of the writing the content? Yeah?
Use AI.
What's that?
Use AI.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so AI is good and bad. I can, I've used it for a long time to help get me places. Like if I want to do some keyword research, it's fantastic and stuff like that. Writing a blog so much, you can see it right away. Now to get you a layout and then you expand on it, it takes away that piece of being scared of how to lay it out. But SEO is evolving. It's starting to see patterns in AI and how you write blogs and say, ooh, this is computer generated. This isn't, honestly from this human writing this. So it's good and bad. To give you a format to expand on and write, yes. To give you maybe some topic ideas, yes. The bad part with, the ChatGPT, the regular version instead of 4, it can't really search links and actively search the web. So it goes off of what it knows. 4.0, you got to pay for it. And it can actually, it's pretty powerful. If you have Office 365, 4.0 is built into that. So it can be a great research tool for you. 100% utilize it. It's no different than searching on Google. It's doing it for you.
So I just wanted to give an example
Yeah.
of what you were saying.
No, absolutely.
Template. So I work with partners within the Laurel Highlands, and they'll give me a description of who they are, and most of the times it's crap. Not that, it's not because they wrote it or anything like that, it's just people don't have time, right? So they write this teeny little thing, so then I will go on to ChatGPT, I'll put that into it, and I say, make this sound better. And then I'll start adding my stuff to it to make it sound even better and more applicable to the Laurel Highlands region itself.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to edit and change 500 partner descriptions, and for that, it's a great tool and a resource for me.
It is the biggest time saver I've heard. And most people, you can get started with your social media marketing plan, and then it'll die off because of time. So even blog posts, there's no reason why you couldn't go in there. Give it the pieces that it needs to pump out a little piece of a content, and then massage it to it however you want. To fully use it to do all your posting, it's kind of facetious, but it's going that way. If you're doing nothing, it's better than nothing. So, But it's in here. We have some stuff in here about it too. It's an amazing keyword research tool to find out where your business is going. Any more questions on website? We can dive deeper into that later, but I firmly believe that people say web's dead, it's all social media. It's not true. The social media platforms are getting bought up and converted and changed, and algorithms are going away and coming back. It's hard to keep up with it. And it was a free network in the beginning. It's all pay to play right now. You think you're reaching people, you're not. You know, and it's very boost and meta-ish. You know, you got to really get into it to get the people that you want. And I do that. And some of the budgets are more than I want to spend, but when you look at your ROI, you're like, okay, let's just keep increasing that until the point to where it, you know, evens out. But definitely website, and I'll answer questions about websites and platforms. I have used them all. With 50, 60 clients, we had every platform where you can imagine, things I didn't even want to learn. I always go back to WordPress. WordPress has some of the most powerful plugins to make your job easy. SEO plugins, analytics plugins, because Google Analytics is very overwhelming. It'll give you nice, pretty dashboards, and mobile responsiveness, AMP pages, accessibility, all stuff we would have to code, and most of these websites don't even have that. Some websites aren't even responsive. You ever go to a website and everything just is the same page that you saw before? That's going nowhere on Google, unfortunately. And responsive, like how long does it take to load? And we're going to talk about page speeds too. WordPress has never done us wrong, and it's very liked by all search engines. It's not hard to get it up and started either. A lot of places are free. A lot of places are very cheap, but it's the plugins you use, and I have some of them listed in one of the links. There is a QR code at the end with some links and stuff. You guys can download all this stuff when we're done. But website. It is not dead. It is actually way higher than social media. So this is something most people don't do, and this is a lot of based around a marketing. Anybody have any marketing plan? Does anybody have an actual marketing plan? No. Rick, do you have one? For your next job?
I feel like I have 10.
What's that?
I feel like I have 10.
I have 10 more. Is that employees?
No.
Is there 10 people at the chamber? Sorry, that was an inside joke. So a marketing plan is something to devise. At least sit down with your team, delegate who's going to do what, make sure that the mission in the end is the same, what the people's strengths are, because I am not a bad content writer. That's why I had people. My wife used to be an English teacher, so there's nothing that she has not criticized that I post. So she is my Grammarly.
She had to review this.
No, she didn't.
Oh,
She didn't at all, no.
Because she said, oh,
No, I got Grammarly in there too, so it helps out quite a bit. That is an awesome thing for any website or content. Grammarly is a free plugin, you can pay for it. It basically tells you, you know, if you look like you're on a second grade reading level or 12th. So find out your strengths, find out your weaknesses, where the opportunities are for your business. So you guys want to grow, you guys want to grow. Where's an opportunity you are missing right now digitally? Why are you growing? Do you know that yet? Why do you want to grow? You know, where is that gap that you want to fill that you think will give you growth and revenue and anything you guys are doing? It's a hard question to answer. You guys, you're in front, I'm going to ask you. So what's an opportunity you think you're missing online?
Online as an opportunity?
Well, digital, yeah, because this is more digital here. That you putting all this effort into is going to get.
The right client.
Right client, yeah, that's true. Someone that's there for a long term and not just overnight, yeah. I agree with that.
not just calling in the price shop?
That's everybody, yeah, We have people come in and ride bikes and they go buy them online because they're $300 cheaper. I'm a demo center a lot of times, yeah. And if you're reaching enough clients too. So do you guys do a lot of paid? No? Okay, oh wow, okay.
That's
Okay.
years of grinding.
This is jumping ahead a little bit for weaknesses and opportunities. And a lot of times I'd say sometimes I get blinders on how difficult some of this stuff is, but Google AdWords, anybody do anything with Google Ads? Search and display. Okay, that's a whole nother training. That's between that and, so I look at the Grayson House. We have started shifting a lot of money away from Facebook and paid, Meta, ads with geolocation. Sometimes I use zip codes and stuff to find out, like, this is her radius. Like, we know a bride will only travel so far unless they're out of state and live in Uniontown. To Google. Google AdWords is a whole nother beast. It's not real hard to get started, and Google AdWords, they have reps that will help you. So every year I always get on a phone call with a Google person, and they will talk you through all the new stuff that's changed. And there's two different pieces of it. There's a display ad, which just shows all the time, and then there's search ads. So if I'm searching for a company to take care of my corporate office, that'd be you guys. Okay, but first of all, you need to know what they're searching for. So you need to do your keyword research. You need to do your the competition in Google AdWords, and then you need to do your budget. When I'm running my Google AdWords for Jolt Bike, I spend $20 a day. $10 on search, $10 on display. Every keyword you can imagine, just for my locale. I don't spend money. If I'm not a national business, I'm not selling. I don't ship bikes, so I don't like if you're. And you got to be careful too. Like there's certain keywords that go across different categories on the internet. So you could be marketing fencing, and someone over here is jousting with each other, and this person over here is putting in fence. So you got to be careful with that. And you also have to do longer keywords like Fayette County lawn care. Fayette County area lawn care. If you just do lawn care, now you're competing with everybody in the US that's trying to do that, and your budgets are through the roof. When I do my AdWords, it always tells me, your competitiveness. Now I'm in a more traditional business. Most bike shops are like, hey, Bob or Gary down at Connellsville. They're very old school. People know that they're there. But when you get into the electric side, it's not so old school. You're either fighting it or you're doing it. So the competition's real low right now for me. So there's a thing called cost per click. So if someone clicks on Jolt Bike, I get charged. If the competition's very high, you start bidding for that. Like when I look at my AdWords, Amazon's right here, and then there's Jolt Bike for my area. I'm never beating Amazon. I'm never going to try to beat Amazon. But being very concise with that is good. But you would think like $20 a day, so, it's a lot. It adds up really quick. But it's amazing how quick you can accelerate your business to the top of Google and people searching. But it takes a lot of pre-work to figure out what you're going to spend your money on so you're not wasting your money. But Google will help with that too. Anybody have pixels or analytics codes in their websites? So they can go look at Google Analytics and see who's searching, if they're just from India and Pakistan and they're hackers, wasting your traffic, or are they actual people in the 100-mile area and what page they went to? Nothing. Okay. So much stuff. And this is all, what's that? Yeah, once you set it up, it eats. You just have to go in and watch your reports, because if you're going to spend, our time and our money are the most valuable pieces to marketing. Once you set this thing up, it just does its thing. You got to go in, but you got to watch your analytics. Like you'll see charts going up and it's working. If it starts diving off, something's wrong. No one's either buying that anymore. Your AdWords need to be changed. You ran out of budget, which it eats up very, very fast. But your analytics, when we were in the marketing world, we would talk to people and we were like, it has to be measurable and quantifiable, or don't do it. That's period. If you're just throwing money at social media and your website and content and boosting stuff and you never looked at the numbers, you're wasting your money. You always got to look at the analytics in the end. And the website is one of the easiest parts. And then your threats. Oh, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
And I don't know if this is really a fair question, but and we do that when we look at it.
Okay.
And we've tried different things, but there are a lot of other Fayette counties in the United States.
Yeah, there's one in Kentucky. Yeah, there's.
West Virginia,
Yeah.
Georgia, Ohio, all of those.
Yeah.
And we're getting a lot of information for people from those areas, and it's like, I feel so bad, like we want to help them, but sorry, you're in the wrong state. Is there anything that you recommend to help?
So there's like businesses in that Fayette County that they're mistaking for you.
It's a service, so they're looking for housing.
So I'll tell you a simple state I've made. Minhing, over by John Eagle. Anybody eat at that Chinese place? New owners, food's not the same. I've ordered Minhing from New York by accident. I got on the phone because when we first built our house, we used to get it all the time because we were living out of my truck pretty much, back in the middle of the woods, honestly. But we get Minhing all the time. So I knew the guy's voice. So I answered one day and I was like, man, this must be a different person. I ordered a bunch of Minhing. They called me an hour later, like, you didn't pick up your food. I was like, well, I know what's going on. And it was New York. So I do that also. So maybe maybe they're just not paying attention. When you geolocate your ads and you pick your radiuses and stuff, there's no messing that up. So it's on their side. They're going to do it no matter what. Now, when you do your ads, you might want to do Fayette County, Pennsylvania, just so you can just, unique yourself out of that. But, if you're doing a paid ad, a boosted ad, you're into Meta, you're doing Google AdWords, it's not going to be, if you geofence it, it is physical area. It's not going to overlap with a different Fayette County unless you just use Fayette County's best XYZ, then Google can get that messed up. It doesn't know. So I would say titles of things, your H1 tags, your titles should always have Fayette County, PA, or something else to dictate where it's from. It's hard to do though, because last night I was looking for some Fayette County images and I grabbed one. I was like, that's not Fayette County. And it was Fayette County, Kentucky or Kansas or something. And your threats. This is all part of your marketing strategy. It's good to have some type. I'm not saying don't go into a big dissertation. Get a least of a strategy. This is what we're going to start with. We're going to fix our website so we're not wasting our money. She's in charge of content. You're going to procure some content for social media, and I'm going to look at the analytics and see what we're doing here. And then if we're not going anywhere, we're going to start getting a budget for paid. It can be very, very simple, and then you can jump into bigger. But what are your threats? Social media changing their algorithms. 15 other businesses in Uniontown doing the same thing is a threat. They all start listening to Fayette Chamber's marketing thing, and they're all paying for ads that you're paying for too. So you're paying 7 cents a click, and now you're paying 93 cents a click because Kathy's killing it. That's hard. But you got to figure out, do you want to just be maybe second, or do you want to change your focus that's different, that you're better at? Fighting for the same keyword sometime in traffic is very, very difficult. We've had companies that would be spending $10 to $15 per click. Their marketing budgets were $275,000 a month. Now they were pulling in $6-7 million a month, but that was nothing. They said, if I'm going to spend another $200,000 and I'm going to make $500,000, just keep on going up until we reach that point to where what I spend is not giving me any more revenue. Yeah.
So I don't do the marketing for the Laurel Highlands in partnership, but tell our partners to utilize hashtag Laurel Highlands or put Laurel Highlands in your blogs and things like that, because we pay a lot of money for that.
Yep.
But you were saying if multiple people are putting that money in with that word, or multiple, if I'm telling 500 partners to use it, so basically it's decreasing the chances of what?
On hashtags? So not so much on hashtags. I think hashtags are a unification of trying to bring something together for the social media platforms to find out. Like if you do hashtag electric bike, I'm all grouped into the same category there, but in that situation I want to be. What you do with that post on Meta or in Google AdWords is where you're getting into something you need to worry about. But I think hashtags they're not threatening to me. Now you should use that. I have a couple slides in here and some tools, but you should use every hashtag you can, all 30 of them. And there's tools where you can stick in, I use electric bikes because I'm always in it. But if you did, electric transportation and you have, it's called alt hashtag, you stick it in there, it'll tell you the next 29 most popularly used hashtags on the internet. You take them, you cut them out. You take your social media post. I use a scheduler to do my social media. I don't have time to post in 9 different places. So I use an app that I can do one post and it'll shoot it everywhere. That is, when you think about $24 a month, you're like, oh crap, that's my budget. And you think about your time, $24 a month is nothing to be in 8-9 places with one post. And it formatted perfectly. There's a couple examples. It's worth its weight in gold because you'll make more than $24 a month by doing all that. Hootsuite used to be like the one everyone used because it was very open source-ish. There's some new ones out that are really awesome. I just did a marketing seminar in Virginia with my wife at Mayhurst. Everyone here at Mayhurst? It's where Stonewall Jackson held up. Like she was doing her thing and I was sitting in his guard tower up on top of that place. That's where I worked for 3 days. It was the most awesome thing in the world. I love the Civil War. But so she learned a new one that I actually adopted downstairs when she was downstairs that I'll have a slide on it. But no, hashtags, use them all 30. use a tool. These tools that I'm going to show you are ones I've used for 15 years. They're going to save you a lot of time. Use every one. I don't find it to be threatening. I don't boost off of hashtags. I boost off of content and a geofence. And just find out your threats. I had a room of 32 wedding photographers, and they all looked at each other like they're going to eat each other's faces because they all wanted to win. They all wanted to be the best. And we ended up figuring out how they could work together. Like I sell electric only. Gary in Connellsville sells analog. Anybody wants an analog race bike or anything else, I send it to him, and he sends up electric to me. We work together, and we're both bicycle shops. I can repair any bike. He can repair any bike. You come to me for convenience, you go to Gary for convenience. But we learned how to work together on that situation. 32 wedding photographers. Sorry. Anyways, know your threats. And I don't mean it in a derogatory way. If you're a national company, Fortune 500, your threats are serious. These people are spending a lot of time figuring out how I can beat you. 32 wedding photographers, they had to learn how to work together and who was there. And the funny thing about the wedding industry is they were all booked. So I said, you all got good problems. But just find out your strengths so that if you're going to spend your marketing money, you're not like portraits, baby shower, everything. At least focus on one thing. So if I'm looking at corporate meetings or headshots, you were the guy to do that or girl to do that. So the plan, and these were talking points. So website, we kind of went through website already. Content and SEO go together. We already made it clear that no one has a marketing strategy, right? You do have one a little bit? Okay. A loose one? Okay. How about budget? Do you know your monthly budget or your daily budget? Does anybody have a budget of marketing that you think would pan out for you?
Very small.
Very small. So what do you consider small? If you push a post or something like that, what do you spend?
Well, we have just an annual rate for our website.
Okay.
For a local Fayette person who's great. And that's really all we are right now.
Just a website.
We're just doing, this is the first step of doing it mostly in-house.
Okay.
We're thinking of something like maybe Instagram.
Pushing on Instagram? Yeah. Instagram's good. I mean, it depends on, they're each. Well, why not? Contents are good. Comments? You don't want the comments? Why?
There is a negative idea of low-income housing in a lot of areas. So
Yeah.
we're trying to erase that mentality and promote what it actually is. Because there's a lot of really good, fun, happy people that happen to be low income and need a place to live.
I remember when we come out with, it was an app. It was called Buck Score. You'd take a picture of a deer from a trail camera, stick it in, and you could score it. And I remember we launched it. It was like, it almost killed me to do it. And I remember getting the first couple negative comments. And I wanted to burn something really quick. And I learned real quick to get thicker skin on that. Now, if every comment is negative, that people judge it based off comments. I judge based off of Google reviews and other legitimate sources that you can control. But everyone is mouthy. I mean, everyone's a keyboard warrior these days. Unfortunately, sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. What you need to try to get is the people that really appreciate you to, like, you're wrong, like, comment on a comment. Like, you're wrong. This is a really great organization. But unfortunately, everyone is so opinionated online right now. That is a very, 15 years ago when we started doing digital marketing, comments were much more accepted. Right now, I would never buy that product because it doesn't fit in my house and they write a bad comment. Like, I don't care. Like, I really don't care. Like, I almost want to write we don't care. Like, there's so many comments that aren't even relative anymore. And it's absurd that people have this much time just to make a frivolous comment on it. I'd like to hear some of them. Anybody got a good one to tell us?
Well, this was at my prior job because I was a marketing coordinator.
Where were you at?
It was called YTS Wealth Management.
Okay.
But I did like Google ads and social media, but it was like a spam comment. So it kept coming up in Google search and I couldn't get it away. And it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't real. So then it was like, how do you get it away?
It's hard.
Yeah. And it took me months.
And Google has made it very hard. I mean, there's no, go ahead.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So I work, like I said, with a staffing agency.
Yep.
We do a lot of posting on social media, sharing it to different groups and everything. And anytime I share anything about a job, they'll be like, oh, you want to hire general labor for $16 an hour. Why don't you make that $22 an hour? Nobody can, live on $16 an hour. And I normally just ignore the comments.
Yeah.
I don't feed into it. Do you think that I should be saying?
No, it's hard to feed into it. But what I have found is the people that really, I look at this right now in our economy and the hiring situation. You watch TV and it's, oh, we're doing so good. And I ask every business owner around here, and you can't get anybody. And if you do get someone, they're the wrong person for the job. I can't even get anybody to look up at me when I'm ordering food, let alone the fact it's wrong almost every time. And I've noticed that change in the last 2-3 years, big time. So anybody's doing staffing or employment, God bless you.
So, can I say something?
Yeah.
We in the chamber world have been beat into our heads in the last 6 years that I've been with the chamber. Muriel beats it in our heads, this phrase, never respond on Facebook, because you feed into the drama. So we always get smacked with various different things for all of our different pages. And there has been recently some stuff that has gone down, and it was really, really, really hard for us as a team to not want to respond. But we also knew.
Can't we we got enough resources to find where they live, right?
Oh, absolutely. And we have a whole pile of people that probably would go take them out too. So we don't want to do that.
Hypothetically.
Yes. But that is something that we live by in the chamber, is that, don't respond, because you're just going to feed into them. Again, like Steve said, you have to have thick skin. Because some of the comments are mean and hurtful, and you're just trying to do your job and do your best, and you're always going to have people that are going to.
It's hard when you work so hard and you see it. The comments that you want are the people that really want that job and understand that $16 an hour. What I don't get in the employment world, and I'm on Faye Penn's that board for employment, and that is when I started out, I worked at Schramm's Farms and Orchards. And I don't know if anybody heard of Schramm's. It was huge, right? I worked there. That was great, because I was a picker for a long time, which was insane. But that wasn't my job. I didn't want to be, that wasn't my end game. Every job got me to the next level of what I wanted to do, or tried something and figured I didn't want to do. And you're offering $16. I guess a lot of people look at it, maybe that's my career for the rest of my life. But you know what? Work hard and you'll maybe make some more money or go up in a company. Because right now, the pickings are easy. Anybody who wants to give 30% effort and communicate with somebody is going to move up in the company. My buddy, he hires Edge Ovens. We all know Edge Ovens. He's killing it. He's a great friend of mine. I love Mike. He gets so many people. He's hiring. He pays good money. Gets people that never show up. We just had a conversation. We wanted to start a website so businesses can go on and say, yeah, that person never showed up for 4 interviews. You know what I mean? To help weed out the time, because you put a lot of time into an interview and then they don't go, or they pin each other. I know the well site companies, my father-in-law's involved with the well company back during COVID, and you couldn't find anybody. They would quit and they would just jump around. Well, all the well companies around here got together and said, it ain't happening. We all have an accord. I'm not hiring your guy, you're not hiring my guy. So when they would quit, they get a smile on their face, but like, you just screwed up because we all have an accord. I don't understand. You have a hard situation, but I think the people that really want the jobs and the people that have worked with you and had good experiences, I would hope. The problem is they're the silent majority. They're not commenting. It's just all the keyboard warriors that have nothing else to do. But you'd hope, like Mark knows, I flipped out on somebody that said some crap about the local, downtown. I was like, what are you talking about? That's a great salary. You hope that more people would stick up for you without you having to stick up. We get them at the wedding venue. Google reviews. Like, we get caterers. So we don't prepare any food. And they were like, the food was not great. Something else about this. And this is serious. It wasn't as many leaves on the tree and it wasn't sunny. And I was like, so my reply was like, well, then I'll just pray harder the next night, So, and they put these Google reviews. I'm like, it's not for your personal opinion of just how you felt that day. You know what I mean? I think people use them for an outlet for anything else that's going on in their life to say, I'm going to just talk this person down. Or they're jealous of your success. Or they're another business and they want to, put some bad Google reviews on it so you look bad. Internet can be pretty vicious. I agree with Kathy. If it's a comment that you can respectfully comment on to say, and then at the end of it, like, please contact us so we know how to make our business better or better serve you. I think that you kind of put a blanket cover on it where you could comment a little bit. I know for a fact people like to see Google reviews, analytics, Facebook. They love to see that you replied. And I have a problem with Facebook. Like, I'll get a bunch of stuff in Meta and like Chinese bike companies, and I don't even understand what they're saying. And Facebook will keep yelling at me and saying, you haven't replied to them. I'm like, I hope you're not grading me off that because I'm never replying to them. So I'll put them into spam. I'm hoping they know better than to say that I'm not going to reply to them. So I could say you could reply, but do it in a way like, please contact one of us. We're here to help you and make our business better. And that's just a blanket statement. But I think replying works for you better whether you're addressing them or not. A blanket statement. I wouldn't go fighting. It's not going to get anywhere. It's just going to make you really frustrated and stay up at night.
And I would like to think that since we're all sitting here talking about this, if you are on somebody's page and you do see a negative comment like that and you do think that they're better or whatever, respond and try not to, obviously you don't want to fight with the person, but share a good comment because that will make the people feel better.
Yeah, that was not my experience. We had a great time. Yeah.
Now that this girl right here, Brandy, she comments on every single post that we post in the chamber, and I just love how every time we go in, we have such a positive post by Brandy. So
That's
Brandy
good.
needs to like everybody's page and give everybody a nice comment because she does. Every day we go in, we post something. Brandy's always commenting. And it makes us as an organization, and I'm sure it would make you as an organization feel better too.
Oh, I think it does.
You have positive people out there and that care.
Well, anybody who has a small business or trying to expand, we should be helping each other. I mean, Fayette County's growing. We're doing good. If we can band it. Unfortunately, the internet is a community too. And like we would do, I grew up in Manor, Pennsylvania. You got beat 15 times down the street when you were in trouble by every neighbor because they were just like your mom and dad. And you never came home. Actually, Manor Elementary, I went home for lunch and heard a bell and walked back to school at elementary school. So,
do you know my parents?
With
We're from that area. My mom grew up in Manor.
Really? What was your last name?
Her maiden name was Uric.
Uric. I grew up on Oak Street.
Observatory.
Right across. I used to walk over there for the bus, yeah. My parents are still there.
Penn Trafford.
Okay, yeah, DeZenzel. Do you know DeZenzels? Or Spooty?
No.
It was kind of funny.
Shrams. I was like, oh.
Shrams, oh yeah. I love Shrams. Yeah, Shrams is great. Nothing like eating an ear of corn raw in the morning. My initiation was to eat 15 jalapenos out of the field. I was like, oh, please don't make me do it. And I ate jalapenos as a baby, I think. So I ate them all up and pretended like I was foaming at the mouth. But it was a fun job. I was surprised to see they closed up. But where are we going? Oh, the social media posting. I remember what topic we're on. But yeah, no, that's good. As far as rebuttals, I would keep them like, please contact us. We like to better our business and just go from there. I don't know how we spawned into that category. Do we need to take a quick break? Does anybody need a bathroom or get a drink or anything? Because it's about an hour mark. Or not. Oh, I thought you just bought that. That's all I'm telling you. Like if you're in an auction, you purchased it. Okay, so SEO. That's a scary beast right there. Does anybody have any idea what SEO is on an article? So Ashley doesn't get crappy content anymore. Is the Fayette Chamber's website responsive? Ooh.
When you search Fayette
It's
Chamber, it
responsive.
doesn't take us to this Fayette Chamber. First one is in Georgia.
Yeah, that's the one we keep getting messed
So
up.
our Facebook our chamber website is run through our
CRM.
customer service. Thank you, Wendy.
So you have no control over it?
We really have very little control over it. We're trying to figure out how to combat that. That's why we utilize our Facebook.
Does Brownsville the same? They're all under one category?
Yeah.
It's responsive.
Is it? Is it moving? Here we go. I had to get through the other Fayette Chambers.
We should be on
It's
top.
just not very sexy.
It is not. And that's not our fault either. That's our CRM.
So do they make you have to use them?
In order to have our directory on the website?
So one thing with web I didn't get into is the power of landing pages. Does anybody know what a landing page is? No. You're close. That's a homepage. So, and we're going to talk about homepages too. You would be mind blown what people do on your website and how far they scroll down and where their mouse goes. And there's actually a tool to heat map your website. It's pretty awesome. But landing pages, so let's say, what's one thing you guys, not lawn care, or not you know what you do, what is one thing you guys do the best if you had to tell me right now? I'm using you because you're so close here. What do you think? Landscaping?
Yeah.
Yes. So landscaping would be, that's the number one thing. So a landing page, so you go to a website, and I've done this many, many times. I do it for weddings. I'll give an example for the Grayson House. You don't see the pages necessarily all the time, but there is Greensburg wedding venues, Pittsburgh wedding venues, Morgantown wedding venues, landscaping. Let's do commercial landscaping. That's more unique. And that's so a keyword of landscaping is very tough. You're going to battle everybody. But if you did commercial landscaping, Uniontown or Fayette County, that's a long tail keyword. That's multiple words, concising it down. There's short tail keywords and long tail keywords. So a landing page would be, they're not necessarily have to be on your front page. So you go to your website and you get all your links and your drop downs, right? A landing page, if I want to do a landing page on commercial landscaping, I would create just a page on commercial landscaping. The title would be commercial landscaping, the pictures would be about it, the content would be about it, the SEO is about it. Down at the bottom would be contact us, which would be directly related to commercial landscaping. And then when you do an ad, you're like, this month we are really low on commercial landscaping, right? Or you want, which I'm not sure you do, more wedding clients at the Hilton Garden Inn. You would do just a page based off of just weddings and hotel rooms. So you can keep, so just like Google, that page is concise to just that. Has nothing else on it. You can still put your links up top and it can still have your header and your footer, so they know how to get around your site. Then you take that page, you share that page on all your social media platforms. It's a part of your linking strategy. You push it. So now they're going to go out and they're going to spend, let's just not get into meta, just say they make a post, you put your link in, you know how it pre-populates with your picture and stuff like that on a website. You take out the link. That's always a no-no. Don't leave that in there. Put your content about that page, and you take it and you boost it. Let's say you're going to put $100 over 2 weeks, right? So now when someone goes to that and gets served it, let's say you did it, when you boost, you can do your own, you can do your friends of friends, you can do stuff. You can also do an audience, right? So you go in there, you can type in your audience, basically keywords, and then you can pick the demographic. I think they allow you to do 50 miles max with boosts. So 50 miles, boost, right? People find it that are relative to you in that 50 miles. They click on it. Social media likes it. They comment on it, social media likes it. They share it, social media likes it. When they click on it, they go to your website. So now you just won the whole way across. Now your website says, that's great, that came from Facebook. They're on your website and they're on that landing page. Google looks at it and says, this page is just about commercial landscaping. It's not about every other damn thing, laying bricks and, landscaping, digging the dirt. It's just about this right here. So Google says, okay, this is a very concise article. Now the person looks at it, right? They scroll down. Let's say it takes, now time on site, anything above 30, 40 seconds you're good, right? Typically people scan, click a link and get back off. So look at your time on that article. And also that they're from the United States, because there's a lot of hacking going on there. But so then you won a bunch of times now, and they got a concise page. Now Google sees that page and sends them to there all the time. They didn't send them to the front of your website, which is about everything that you do as a company, about you, the news are going on. That was your landing page. Now, to Kathy and some of the people that don't fully control their websites, you could do landing pages. I don't know what they allow you to do, but you could also do a subsite. So real quick before I answer the question, subdomains. So if you did, Fayette Chamber, is it Fayette Chamber of Commerce? What is the actual link?
FayetteChamber.com.
FayetteChamber.com. You can do a subdomain without owning the actual website. So this might get into where people didn't control their websites. So joelpike.com, I don't control. Let's just say it's a global company and I'm just one of their stores. But I want to make a piece about a bike park we just put in. So you can register a subdomain that would be bikepark.joltbike.com. Bike Park could be a WordPress website or Square or whatever else, and you could start putting your content on there for you. All they have to do is make a little change in their GoDaddy or wherever their domain name is at, and now you have a sub-site off of yours. Now, I'm sure they would do that for you, but you might be able to do like localevents.fayettember.com. You may not be able to control the other piece, but then you can take all the content and you can create a super awesome SEO blog and own that in perpetuity.
When do you thought that?
And then links too. So
Okay, good.
one of the most powerful things on your site is when you write a blog article, and I'm going to show you an SEO example in a second here, is linking between your blogs. So say I have 50 blogs on bikes. With this blog, inside of it, I source myself. So I will link pieces of the content to other blogs that I wrote. Google's like, well, Steve used himself as an authority, so they must not be fly-by-night blogs. He must like them. So if I'm going to change a rear tire, maybe it'll talk about the tire, and if this article was tire types, taking the chain off, this is about chains. You know, what kind of tube to use, that's an article I had. So it sees you interlinking with yourself. And then when you link it other places, like if the chamber, if you had all of our logos with our links. I don't know, are we linked on your site with the logos? That's a backlink. So if Go Highlands, I think we're linked on a lot of Go Highlands. So you might.
Because of the way, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but.
No, you're good.
Because of the way the website is set up through our CRM or whatever it's called, when you are a member and you're put into the system,
It yanks it out.
you can, when you do a search, a lot of the times, our site will come up with your information.
Okay.
Just their
And
domain's older.
because.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So that we do, I mean, it kind of is connected, but not through logo.
Okay. But like Go Laurel Highlands, when you look at your backlinks, so that's called a backlink. Let's say joltbike.com exists, right? Backlinks are the chamber links to me, Go Laurel Highlands links to me, a couple other blogging places where I posted a piece of content, or places where you're looking for services. You can post like your business and stuff like that, and this is who we are, and you're in a big, like the PA campsites, shows every campsite. When you do that, make sure you put your website address in there or a link to an article. That's a backlink. A backlink is out, coming in. If you're a domain authority, which would be joltbike.com, my domain is joltbike.com, and I have not made the internet mad from spamming and illegal activities, like, and it's content stuffing, and I mean, like I'm not selling drugs on joltbike.com, I mean like bad practices, and someone links to me that has a high authority, let's say the Fayette Chamber, the domain authority is probably high, it looks at me and says, okay, well, if they're a respected source linking back to me, this site must be okay. You get 10 to 15 to 20 of those, then you're bringing that synergy of the whole digital marketing strategy in. Now you have to ask for it sometimes. Guest blogging, I get tons of spot, like, will you please post this article that I just wrote? And it's straight out of ChatGPT. It's like horrible. But you can work with each other, you know what I mean? And the people that you work for. So one of my things right now, I give everybody a Jolt Bike water bottle if they scan the QR code and leave me a Google review. Like 32 Google reviews later, those water bottles paid for themselves. If you work for a bunch of big clients and they've been with you for a long time and they have a good website, would you mind posting us on your website or on something and saying, hey, we work with here? A lot of people will do that. And then that's a good backlink for you too. So that's a part of the SEO strategy. I keep diving off. Any questions? No, I think I skipped somebody. Do you have a question?
I had a question about the landing page.
Yeah.
When you were talking about that, and you said when you're making your post, you take the link out. How do you get people to that landing page? It's a silly question.
They click on it below. So what happens is they'll click on so when you post in Facebook and you stick your website link in,
Right.
it'll grab the main image, if you put one, hopefully you did, and then the link is right below it. You take out the long link that has all the garbage in it, and you write your article in there. That is best practice. Your link is there. What happens is Facebook will rewrite that whole thing and it'll say, okay, I'm gonna go to the website. They have the main image in their website. I'm gonna yank it. And then I'm gonna put the link in a nice way underneath instead of, because you ever see links with tracking links and cut and paste them to somebody and you end up looking at it, it's like this long. They're tracking you. That's how they're finding out that you clicked on it and where you're from. You don't need that. So rip that all out of there. Now, if you have other links that are cleaner, like that might be other links, and you can put those in, but it's not going to pull. It's only going to pull your first main link. So always, if you're linking to your website, which all content you should link back to your website, put that in first. Once it populates itself in the post, yank it out and then put your content in, or whatever the post is about, your hashtags and all that kind of stuff afterwards. The SEO, I'm going to show you SEO real quick. Search engine optimization. And there's a whole bunch of acronyms related around that. Let me find it here. And this document is in the shared folder, which you'll see at the end. Okay. I'm just going to end the slideshow real quick. Everybody see that? Okay. So here's an example blog with SEO. And I just mocked this up real quick. So this is your parts of it. I'm going to scroll down real quick and then we'll talk about each individual parts. So here's your blog post title. That's your H1. H1 is a technical term, how Google knows what this is going to be. Like for you guys, if you're doing Fayette County and it's confusing with other states, you know, you could do eco-friendly commuting, you know, Fayette County, Pennsylvania puts in 400 more miles of bike trails, right? So that's going to tell you where and what the article's about. But the problem with this is this whole post needs to be based around a certain keyword. So a guide to electric bikes. So there's my title. And then here's your meta title. Now, all these you probably never heard of a meta title before. Anybody know the meta keywords or anything like that? This room is set up really weird. I have to stand behind it. So your meta title is the next piece. This isn't even writing the article yet. So your meta title is the next piece. This is what Google looks at and says, okay, now I know what this article is about. And then the slug, you have to have all this. So you're talking a few hours to prepare one blog, and I haven't even written it yet. The slug is what you see like joltbike.com/ you don't want this, right? You want your keywords. Electric bikes guide. Google doesn't have to, and I talk like this sometimes with my kids, like Google search words. Like you don't have to say like best bikes in Fayette County, electric bike guide. Google looks at electric bike guide. You don't need the and all the phonetic stuff we would say to each other. So it's concise. People can remember this. This is the / on your website. It's easily searchable. So when you post your blog, it'll ask you, what do you want to change the slug to? The slug is the URL that you see. So it's not this long. Now, if you have a website, what's that?
Why is it called a slug?
I don't know. That's a good question. I never really asked that. I just learned it. That's, I don't know. It's not slow. Now, if you have a website and you are monitoring your website, you would share this whole domain name. So it'd be www.joltbike.com/ electric-bike.guide. That would get them there. If you are not tracking your website, anybody use Bitly or TinyURL? Anybody use those? We'll talk about those. So it takes your URL, makes it a little small link, and then it's for free, and then you could track whoever clicks it. So if you had a really long link and you wanted to shorten it, it'd be bit.ly/electric-bike-guide, and then it'll track the stats for you, which I actually have the documents today on a Bitly link to see how many people actually download them so I can tell the chamber. I can rat on you. So introduction. This is the introduction to the, it's actually clicking it off a little bit. Transforming the way we are. If you notice the keywords are staying consistent through here. Sources, they always want you to quote sources. So when you go through an SEO audit, it's going to check your titles, and there's multiple titles too. So just like you would write a PowerPoint or a dissertation, you have your main H1 title, which is what this is about, right? Then you have subsections of your blog. You have H2, H3s. It's overwhelming, I understand that, but once you get it, it's a joke. You go out with all your content, right? And then you come into electric bikes and you could do an H2 tag, which could be electric bikes on the Gap Trail. So your title would be a different size. I know it sounds funny, but H1s are large. H2s. So it's just like if you do subheadings, you know how when you go through a PowerPoint or you do an Excel spreadsheet or something, you just keep going with dots in and everything gets smaller for hierarchy. It's the same as a website, but each one of these means something different to Google. Keywords. So this is what we went off for keywords right here. Electric bike buying tips, features to consider. So we kept very consistent with that. These were the reviews. Am I going the back way? Bicycling right here. Okay, top models. This is another section of the blog. Conclusion. Here's your call to action. And here's your stuff that you might have to start looking up. Alt text. Does anybody know what alt text is on an image? So how many of you take pictures with your digital camera and just upload your pictures and stick them right in the way they're named? Like DC000245. I think that's like a Canon camera, isn't it, or something? Okay, wasting your picture. Take that picture and make the name of the file what you want that article to be or that post to be. Because Google doesn't understand, it searches every picture. So when we talked about impressions in the beginning, if you have an image that's a bunch of garbage comes off the camera, it doesn't know how to show you. I still like impressions. I don't rank everything on them, but if you named it, Jolt Bike, Uniontown, Pennsylvania, electric bike buying guide.jpg, they know exactly what that is. Also, when you write this article, the pictures that are going to be put inside this, it's going to say, well, the pictures are also named the same. So this must be relative to it. That's what this alt tag is for your images. So very important to rename your images. And it's just a simple piece to get you more for your money when you're paying for stuff. Internal, external links, talked about this. So always link yourself and then link external sources. Keyword density. You don't want to go through. So if you're riding something on an electric bike, buying guide, long tail keyword, you don't want to read it and be like, there's a density to it. You don't want to read that word 45 times. It's got to be throughout the article, maybe 8, 9 times. So you don't want to stack. It's called content stacking. You don't want to do that. What they used to do back in the days when Google was stupid, at the bottom, they would fill the blog article with white text on a white background. And the page would go, everyone ever scroll something down a page and you kept scrolling, you're like, what the hell's going on? It's white on white. Because what they did is they stacked in all kinds of content and keywords, and Google didn't have algorithms that were good back then, and they showed up first. So you can't do that anymore. But this right here, then these are the tags. This is like your heading, your subheading, and the subheading of this heading. And it's a little overwhelming. That's what a blog looks like. Did anybody know that a blog was that deep when you laid it out? If you're going to spend the 5 or 6 hours to do it, this will get your best bang for the buck and produce for you years down the road. So if that's something you guys want to dig deeper into, something where we sit down and do a content day on how to actually and formulate a blog, it'd be kind of neat to see everybody bring their laptops and try to make one for your own business and then go through it. I have some paid tools that'll analyze them and tell you, whether it's worth posting. Now, if you use WordPress, there is a plugin I have, it's called Yoast SEO. When you write your blog, it'll grade everything with green, red, and orange. And you go through and edit it right in WordPress, and when you get green dots, you are 100% good for Google. It is fantastic. That's why I love WordPress, because it actually will help you get to where you want it to be, and the plugin's free. Because this is overwhelming right here. But our blogs, we were usually 6-7 hours to do one blog post for a company, and we did up to 60 companies. I mean, that's what the content team did. And then get all the images so they were different all the time. That's insane too. I don't know. I mean, you guys are all doing this in-house, really, pretty much, right? Everyone. So your time is not there all the time. Stock images are good. It'd be better if you could take some images. Sometimes it's nice to have like a day where your staff will go out and you just load up on tons of pictures that are relative to your company and then put it in a repository and then use them. Because I have a hard time with images also. I use them up too quick. Anybody have any questions on this? And by all means, please, no? Probably tons more than you want to ask right here. Does that feel overwhelming to you? New? Okay. Well, this is good. We're also kind of getting to feel where we want to expand on this here. I firmly believe that implementing some of these principles you'll see results within a couple months. And it's not a bad thing. A lot of people just don't know. I mean, that's why there's marketing companies, and we do well when we do it. Because this is all considered low-hanging fruit. We didn't even dive into what really will get you pushed out there. And we're lucky because none of you are, nobody's national here, right? Is anybody national? So you're national?
Yeah, like we're a corporate office, like we're a franchisee.
You're a franchisee, okay.
Yeah.
But you can concentrate, your areas here.
Yeah, but like, and I don't know if you're gonna go into it, but like, we use like SoSeed, and like everything that like I can schedule out, like we have like a big, library full of content from like our corporate that I can use, and then I can also go out and like schedule.
So they're providing you with a lot of stuff that you need. Yeah, see, that's good and bad because they're always looking at the national. You're looking at locally and how to get people to move into here to work and come. That's hard. That's where subsites come in, but I don't know a lot of legality with that. A lot of people won't let you do that. But yes, this can be overwhelming, but it is. I mean, it's going to be very fruitful for your businesses. But first of all, you got to find out if you can even do content or a blog. And like I look at Kathy, like there's a link here, but so many things you could tackle with a piece of content that would just sit there and eat that probably save you a million phone calls too. But I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
A lot of it we're not.
You're not allowed. See, that's where you get your hands tied.
There's as much space you can type in for what you want to say.
See, that does nothing. That's why a lot of times when people get Square or Shopify and stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, we're doing a blog right now, and I'll go look at it and be like, no, you're just typing content. It's not doing anything for you. You have to turn on all those features and spend that time to do this. So I wanted you to at least see this so we can dive in deeper if you guys want. Just yell at Kathy and Ashley and let them know that you want to do a content day. I think it would be a good thing to do. Anybody need a break or keep on going? Okay. Let me get out of this. Is that back up? Okay. So, social. Is everybody living on social pretty much all you do right now? Everyone's social heavy. Okay. Can anybody tell me some things that worked for you and didn't work for you, or frustrations on social posting and maybe some questions?
We use a third party that does our Facebook posts and they put it out on Twitter and LinkedIn. But I guess they don't boost the post. Like you'll see something and it doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out why I pay this company to do these when if it's like a really remedial post, could I just do it?
Probably better.
Yeah.
If another company's doing it and it's not getting any traction, there's two different reasons. They did a really bad job, or no one needs to know more about what you're doing there. It's kind of funny. We used to look at clients, we'd walk in with them and they would have 1.2 million followers on Facebook. So first thing I did was go down through and look at their content. And they were like, one like, one share, one like. I was like, everything's fake. They're like, how did you know? I was like, because there's no engagement. I'd rather have 2,000 people that engage all the time than have 1.2 million are fake. It's very hard to do fake anymore, but people do it. Or they've had them from previous days. My judge of success on a Facebook page is comments, shares, and interactions. It's hard to get though. You got to really, really be hammering some content and asking some questions to get them to interact with you. I don't know why. I mean, you're corporate. Maybe they're not. So is it? You have a local Hilton Garden Inn page, or how are they doing it for you?
No, it's through corporate.
Okay.
But the social media company that we use is someone that we have locally chosen to use.
So you have your own social media Facebook page.
They're not from this area,
Okay.
but we use them and they do 2 posts for us per week.
Okay, 2 posts a week. Okay. And that page is not tied to the main Hilton Garden Inn page. It's local.
It's like on Facebook and they do.
Okay, so it's Hilton Garden
They
Inn.
respond to things on our.
So is it Hilton Garden Inn Fayette County? Is it its own page, right? It's not Hilton Garden Inn's page?
The Facebook page
Yeah.
is our own.
It's your own. Okay, that's what I was getting. It's disconnected. Okay. That's a tough one right there. I mean, they're making a post twice a week and you're not getting any interaction. You probably could take it in-house, but do you have time to do that? I don't know. But if just making
Sometimes I'll post something like,
Yeah.
oh, Fayette Chamber night at the hotel or something, and it gets like so many posts. I'm like, well, I just did that from my phone for
Yeah.
2 minutes, and I didn't pay them $500 a month.
probably all automated, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
They don't come in your building.
Yeah, they email us like, what do we want to post? We can post pictures on their share file, and they ask for more stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just don't know what they're looking for, you know?
Yeah, that's tough right there. I would say we go back to having some content to share on the page and then people click it and finding out what's really going on. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I would say like with us, anything that I post is like from corporate doesn't really get too much response or anything, but if I post a picture of us like out and about at like an event or something like that, like it'll blow up.
Yeah.
You know? And it's completely night and day, so.
Yeah, and
Just the localness of it.
Maybe like they want to see like the real people, you know,
Yeah.
us doing stuff and.
And Facebook loves stories. They love video. Video gets pushed a lot more. Live stuff gets pushed a lot more.
So I know Silvis down there, you guys,
That's us.
for Groundhog Day.
We had to be different.
You had to be,
Had to
I don't
take
know
a
how
chance.
much push you got on it, but it probably blew up. It was a video and they used a rooster instead of a groundhog for Groundhog's Day. It was
Oh, that's-
fantastic.
Thank you.
Was it predicting the weather?
It was different, and I
Okay.
think like that's another probably example that you guys are running into is the locality of it. It looks so canned and you're coming from corporate, but when you bring it home and you bring it local, that's when you get your push.
And I guess your local people are on your local
Yeah.
Facebook. It's not like people looking for a hotel room from Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like viewers would be a perfect case for content, like going to Ohio Pow and Falling Water. Where's a great place to stay? It's around restaurants. Like I want you to show up. I don't know if corporate's doing that exactly for you, but I always go to other sites and then drill down to Uniontown, then find you. But how many customers are you guys losing from trying to find you based off of what they're doing and not necessarily looking for the hotel? Because that's where people stay at Hilton Garden Inn religiously across the United States, so they're always going to look. So, but I don't, some of you guys have your hands are tied because corporate dictates what you can do. You can do a very small piece, which is not really working.
There's a Uniontown, Ohio also.
Yeah, I get that all the time too. That's frustrating.
And there's stone houses all around the world. I've got one in Santa Barbara I'd love to go to one day. But people buy gift cards online even, thinking that we're on the road.
That's funny right
Thanks
there.
for good conversation.
Heck yeah. So is someone, as far as social media posting, are you married to Facebook, Instagram? Do you use them all? Are you using just as many as you have time for?
I married my business Facebook page to Instagram.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
I'm famous for that. I don't know how it happened, but it did. And sometimes it'll even say when I post something, it'll say that Instagram is off, and I don't know how it got off.
Yeah.
Because I didn't turn it off. But I also, so I have a personal Facebook page, right?
Okay.
And then I have a business Facebook page that it's just mine.
Yeah.
And what I was noticing, and a lady helped me with this, which I don't know if it was a good or bad thing, but everything I was posting about my business on my personal Facebook, I was at and putting my company Facebook page on there. And she said, don't do that because people already know that you have your own insurance company. Do not. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Like I was just posting and then adding and then copying and going over here. Then I actually paid for Canva.
Yeah.
The paid version of it because it allowed me to go in on a Sunday. I'm a one-man show. So it allowed me to go in on Sunday and schedule and create, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still not any good at it, but what was happening was 9:30 at night when I get home from, driving 4 hours a day and seeing a bunch of people, was I was having to get on and create a real quick content. And it was just, I just don't have the time to do that.
Yeah.
Those were a couple of things, but I don't know if removing my @ and the business off of my personal when I'm posting.
I don't think it hurts anything. I've never seen it.
I don't know why I would have done that, but
No.
you said don't do that.
I've never seen it hinder anything whatsoever, and I would personally do it because it gives you more credibility on both sides. So, not to my knowing, I don't know why.
Okay.
Social's a funny bird because every different platform you post on typically needs a different image size and a different piece of content, or it truncates your text. You almost these days, and you want to be on them all. I mean, unfortunately, got to be on TikTok and post it everywhere, whether you like it or not. I have a business page that I haven't done yet on it, but I mean, you got Instagram, Facebook, you got Twitter, you got LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. You don't have to pay for it, but get a page on there because it is indexed.
The only thing you can't hook LinkedIn to anything, so you have to go in and.
Well, you can hook it to your social media manager.
Yeah.
I mean, it could post for you.
If you.
Yeah, if you have one. If not, you got to go through and grind. You got to go through every page and post and go, and we did that for many, many years.
No, I post on Instagram and I share it to Facebook. Is that?
No, that's good. Unfortunately, they're owned by the same company, so that's why that link works so well. But get on Twitter and, or X or whatever, and it's a whole different post platform.
For some of the smaller partners that we have, I sometimes will ask them what their demographic is, because for Facebook, it's a little bit older and Instagram's younger.
Yeah.
Would you recommend I continue to do that, or do they have to have?
No, I think it is. It's starting to come to the point to where just you post on both, but Instagram, I mean, everyone, it's more visual, and it is typically a younger crowd. There's a lot of pictures, you sell stuff through it. A lot of people use Instagram just for their e-commerce too, like comment and buy. Like, I know businesses that don't even have an e-commerce, they sell everything through Instagram and they kill it. So yeah, I'd say you're not wrong on that. But it's better to be in as many places as you can that you can post to. It takes time. The whole number one thing here is time. But you got to weigh the options of having a utility that posts for you, create the post once and let it go out. Like in the retail world, there's a program called Promo Box. And these companies will send stuff out to you and they'll be like, hey, here's a post. And there's a lot of shared buys too. So like, let's just, for example, Yamaha will send me out and say, hey, we are going to pay you $15 to boost this. And the post is already made for you. And you go into Promo Box, you check all your platforms and it posts for you. But the actual companies are providing that for me. There's a couple, I'll show you the link sheet. There's a couple, the one I use right now religiously that posts everywhere with one click. But it's also like $19 a month. But the odds of being in all those places at once, it far outweighs the return on investment. So I would definitely look at them. There's some that are very cumbersome and there's some that are not update. You get in there, you add all your platforms and it won't post right. You got to read the fine print. I have it.
Okay.
I want to show you the link page, which you guys are going to take home with you digitally, but I couldn't go through all of them, but there's some serious tools in there for you guys to plan your strategy and make your life easier. I'll go through them here in a little bit. So PPC, pay per click, we kind of talked a little bit about it. Who's paying to get traction and growth right now for ads? Either it's on Google or it's on social.
I have.
You do? Okay.
I have, yeah.
Okay, and you guys do also? Okay. Silvis, no pay yet? No. Okay. And the boost, so one tip on paid we found out is say I put up a post about a bike sale, right? I let that post eat as much traffic as I can for about a day and a half. I want that organic traffic, which is free. And then I'll go in and boost it. A lot of people boost it right off the bat, and then you're just paying for everything. So if you have a decent following, you might get 300 likes or comments on it or whatever it is, then pay for it. So anybody hit the boost button? You guys did the boost button? Okay, that's the simplest part of Facebook push. Meta is the deep part of it. But it's not bad. If you do it, I don't let Facebook choose for me. So if I have a good following and I want to sell something possibly or a service to the people I already have, I will pick friends of friends, right? But usually I do an audience. So at least get your money worth out of it. You go in, you let it eat for a day or two, go in, boost a post, click on pick your own audience and demographic, right? So you go in there and do that, and it'll ask you what's your range. I always make it 50 miles because it's usually easy to get someone for 50 miles for bikes. And then it'll ask you interests, and it lays it out for you. So if you're doing wedding venue, Type in wedding venue, and it starts populating. It'll be receptions and brides and newly married, and you check all this, right? This is the simplest version of pushing a post. There's the deeper version where we're going to get into meta. That'll be more of a sit-down roundtable because it's deep. But so you go through all that, and it'll start calculating what your reach is. Anybody ever see the little arrow that goes back and forth on there? So you'll start upping your, if it's something that's only going to last for a week, 5-6 days, you don't want to boost something for an event that's going to happen 3 weeks or 4 weeks from now, 4 months before. You just wasted your money. Usually 2 weeks before is a good time to boost something heavy so people still remember. But if you did $5 a day and you did it for 2 weeks, it's going to tell you how much you're going to reach. It's going to tell you if you're too broad. And it's also going to tell you if your keywords are wrong. If you're really trying to get tight in our area, you're going to get scared because sometimes it'll say your reach is 1.2 million people. And you're like, yes, I'm going to boost this, right? I don't want that. I don't want that arrow up. I want it to be to the point to where I'm going to hit 750 people, but it is directly solid on that demographic. Those are my guys. And then boost it and let it eat and see what's going on with the analytics afterwards. And it's even better yet if it linked to your website because then you get that traffic also on your website. Anybody have good questions about social media posting and boosting? They make it easy for you to boost your post, but they want you to do it right away. So save yourself a few bucks. People, have you done boosting? Have anybody paid? Only a couple paid here, paid here. Okay. Have you had success with it?
Yeah, I think so.
What's a typical budget? Like if you boost a post or something, I'm always curious.
A couple $100, right?
Yeah.
Is that a month? Is that a week? Or is that
That would be probably 2 weeks.
about 2 weeks? That's good. That's a respectable budget. A lot of people will take it down and do $1 per day for 7 days, and it's almost not worth doing it.
Yeah.
But you guys will know your ROI. Like I'm spending $20 a day on Google Ads. It better be panning out. But in my mind is if I sold a bike that month, it paid for itself. What I couldn't pay for is the brand awareness of Jolt Bike. And I know that it'll be a winning game in 4 to 6 months. All this stuff you guys are going to do, and I hope we continue with this and you guys get a plan. It's not always instant. Paid is instant. It's a work in progress to where you're starting to see, oh my, this is really working, and then that excitement kind of takes off. So you got a 3 to 4 month ramp up to figure it out. Website, get all your structure, get your team together, get your marketing plan, figure out who's going to do it. You can outsource it, but be careful. Everybody and their grandmother is a social media expert, and they couldn't tell you. I love it when I go in with somebody and ask them some questions about content and stuff like that, and they're like, they have no clue how to answer it. So always ask the hard questions. You're interviewing them. They're not interviewing you. But there's a lot of very facetious companies out there that will just take your money and post twice a week for a lot of money, just to post twice a week. It's not doing anything for you guys.
Can you explain
And no, I won't do it.
between boosted versus ads, paid ads? So like boosted could be like a post, right? And then the paid ads would be like making a little advertisement for your business.
So paid ads, I look at Google for paid ads. So that's under PPC. So Google, it's called Google Ad. I don't know if I can bring it up. I don't know if it'll show me that here, but it used to be called Google AdWords. It's called Google Ads. And all the tools are right at your hands. I can't bring it up. Let me look. So this is the part where it starts getting crazy. Did it take it down? No.
Is there a tool that updates your Google like address and open and close hours?
Yeah. So
that it all stays relevant on
that's a part of the Google one down there. Google is everything. If you can master Google and not worry about the other stuff, you're winning. It used to be called Google GBM, Google Business Management, or GMB. But it's not. It's Google Maps now. Everything you do is through the app or Google Maps. And if you're not found on there, you need to be found there. But we're going to talk about that in a couple seconds. Okay, end slideshow. Oh God, there's so many things I got to show you guys. Yeah, I'm trying to get through some of these tools. So like Jolt Bike. So this is my Google Analytics account. No, that's analytics. I'm the wrong one. Ads.google. It's very like Google News, Google Alerts. It's all very phonetic. Alerts.google, news.google. This, I got to show you this very powerful one here for you to stay up to date with trends and what other people are doing. So this is Google Ads. So if you look at some of the campaigns, are stopped for the wintertime for us. So you see search ad and you see brand awareness ad right here. You everyone see that? Is it up on the screen? Yeah. Okay. I don't know, the projector was a little bit off. So when I go into there, a search ad is Steve Smolenski is searching for something with electric bikes in a certain radius. The search ad is saying, I'm going to put Steve up into there because, now listen, they aren't just putting you up there because you paid. They pre-vested you. It is horrible to go through the process that your website is not scammy, there's no viruses, your images are named properly, there's no outside copyright infringements. It is instantaneous. They shut your ads down. So you're not going to get a scam site, and I'm not going to fake everybody out. So once that goes through the checks, it's a legitimate ad that you're being shown. So if you're looking for the visitor bureau, the best visitor bureau in Pennsylvania, your Google ad will display that. That is a search-based paid ad. And then there's display ads. So you should run both, and they should do two different things for you. Search is the person looking for it. Display is, like in Google, and on the side it has displayed ads, and like if you're even remotely thinking about an electric bike in your mind, it shows up on your phone. It's voice search. It's just going to display you, so you'd be like, oh heck, that's exactly what I was thinking about 3 days ago. You know what I mean? And it's right there. So there's two different pieces. I do $10 and $10. They wanted me to do 20 and 20, but I wasn't that aggressive. But 10 and 10. Killed it, to be honest with you. And you can look at them. You can see who your competitors are. It'll lay everything out for you. And then it'll also analyze it and say, hey, we want you to add these keywords. Because you have to remember, Google, they do want your money. But Google wants you to super succeed because it owns this category. And as long as you're succeeding, Google's succeeding. So they'll call you up and say, hey, Steve, this is Tesh from Google, yada, yada. I just talked to him, actually. And he's like, hey, I want to go over your platform. And they'll go through it with you, and they'll tell you what keywords to change, how to narrow this in, what to do. And I tell you what, every time it kills it. The last 6 months I've been remodeling over at Springdale. I was a pretty absentee bike shop owner. My guys did it. It kept us kicking was my Google ads. I never even looked at them. I spent over $500 a month, which is not a lot sometimes in marketing. And a big client from Silvis would do, you get a contract with them. $500 is nothing to land somebody if they're spending $20,000 a year for you. I don't know, what it all costs, but Google ads are probably, if your website is good. So this ain't gonna work if you don't have a website. If your website is good, Google ads is probably the next most powerful thing any of you guys could do to be found online. It's not fun, it's not easy once you get into it, but there is a lot of stuff that makes it easier for you.
Do you think the Microsoft ads are kind of going to get there?
Rarely have we ever used those. It was everything, 99% of all businesses are just hammering Google. Anybody got any questions on this category? This one gets deep. This is another really deep dive. And nobody in here is using Google ads, correct? Maybe a girl or Highlands. I don't even know if the chamber. You guys got some corporate uses them, or do you do locally?
I get it, just locally.
Okay, yeah.
So my question though, because I don't do this for us,
Yeah.
is on Facebook in particular, you can do a boosted post, but can't you also do paid ads?
You can, yeah.
Okay, so what would you recommend there?
I would target geofence your audience on Facebook for that exact demographic in your niche. I don't like display ads or that version on Facebook. I would put all my money into Google. Yeah.
There's been times where I've done Facebook ads, not boosted, and it might be like a lead ad. So they would put their name and their email.
Rick Fike is awesome.
Sometimes it was not a real person.
Okay.
So
well,
when I would use Google, at least they were real people.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh, it's amazing the amount of fake.
Yeah.
And this is the bad part is every marketing company I've dealt with, or we took their clients back in the days, they were so fake. No, it's an unknown. It's like taking your car to an auto dealership and they're like, you need muffler bearings. Everyone think that's true? That doesn't even exist, right? that you believed it because you didn't know anything about your car, right? The marketing world is exactly the same. They could take advantage, based off my asking you questions, they could take advantage of every one of you in here right now, and you wouldn't know the difference unless you ask for the analytics and you say, how is it measurable and how is it quantifiable? That's the only question you guys need to find out to seek, the truth from these people. Because if it's not measurable and quantifiable, and they're not giving you reports based off of this is this month and this is your spend, I don't know what you're paying for. It's not worth doing if it's not measurable. So, but people do fill it up with fake stuff. I mean, they'll get those numbers through the roof on impressions and stuff like that. Everyone's like, oh my God, I got 1 million impressions. And it makes you feel good to go to bed, right? Likes make you feel good to go to bed. It's not making you guys any money to keep your business going. Unfortunately, it takes time, and you got to know where your ROI is and how far you want to go. What do we have underneath that? PPC. Anything more on PPC? I think we know that we're kind of knowledgeable on boosting a post and Facebook and stuff like that, but AdWords is non-existent, pretty much, except for a couple.
Steve, she had a question.
Yeah.
So are you saying just on Facebook, it's better to do the boost, to spend your money there than a sponsored ad?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Because you can I think it targets your audience a lot better if you're willing to drill down. Yes. And then your pay per click, this is it. This is where I find out who's beating me, and it's always Amazon. And it's not that I'm spending a lot of money. There's just not many people pushing so many ads And we'll pull people, they'll come from Erie, Ohio, Deep Creek, Harrisburg. I'm like, why did you come to my shop? You passed up 15 of them. They're like, well, we found you on Google. So if Google Maps tells you to make a right off a bridge, people will do it. If Google tells you to go, so you see where I'm going with this. We think too logically, but it's really, people are doing exactly what it tells them to do. So be a part of it. And this is an analytics home right here. So this is Google Analytics. This is GA4. I'm sure Kelly's heard this at the presentations with that Sarah girl. Yeah. Google Analytics. Any of you running Google Analytics? You do? I would, if you're not on GA4, you have to be by some month, July, or they'll kill all your data. So you have to migrate over. GA4. It's been years though, and I just did it about 6 months ago. So, yeah. So, but it's amazing. I mean, some of the stuff you see on here, it's telling me. So, this is the data that can make your money go so far for what you're doing. I'm not going to get too far into this. I'm trying to do just. Oh gosh, it's almost 11 o'clock. I didn't even get through everything. But anyways, so you can see what I'm going on here. So I'm not even running any ads right now. But it shows my demographic over here, where people are coming from. China might be because they hit me up to sell their bikes all the time. Australia, I sell a bike from Australia called Ubco. So I can guess on some. Not sure what's going on in here. I do a lot with Russia. I'm just kidding. But over here, I can see what's going on. Beginner's Guide to Shifting. You can see the articles that people are currently on right now and whether it's worth it. So if I get this article right here, and this time frame is, my screen is really expanded out. I can't see all the drop downs because it's on the projector. But if I would get this down to the year, you'd be able to see so much data. But apparently, my main page is the most, right? If you go down into some of these articles, so like electric dirt bikes and e-bike dirt bikes, that's a landing page. All that page talks about is electric dirt bikes. So if it's trending right now, what do you think would be the first thing? This analytics is saying everyone's searching for electric dirt bikes right now. What would you guys do? I like you. Yes. Social media, write another article, link it to that, go heavy on electric dirt bikes. Be the authority in it right now. They're searching your site for it. So expand on that. Ride the momentum on that. And there's also research to find out what you should write too. So Google News. Anybody use Google News? These are all free, and this could take your time from hours down to nothing. So Google News. Let's look at landscaping in Fayette County. I'd say nothing. Did I misspell right? Not much on the landscaping in Fayette County.
Put Fayette County, PA.
Yeah, let's do PA, you're right. There you go, Kathy. So somehow they're talking about it, right? So in my Gmail account, every day I get 4 emails that are Google News. One's on electric bike trends, electric bike buying, et cetera, et cetera. So when you go into here, it can do the work for you. And I'm going to skip ahead, but this is important. Can we go just a little bit over if you're willing to stay, just like 15 minutes or so? Just so I can get you a couple more things. So this is Google News, right? Then you can go to Google Alerts. It's only alerts.google.com. This is in the links. There's a link page in this QR code that you guys are going to get. So what you do is you go in there and set up an alert, which is basically a keyword. So you could put in there Laurel Highlands Visitor Bureau, save it, edit it, and every day it'll send you everything on Google in a concise format with truncated links to go and see what's going on. It doesn't work for you. So I'll do heavy keywords. So these are all my keywords. I don't know why my email address is a keyword in there, but maybe it's because it's where it's sending it. But you have to have a Gmail account. Everyone have a Gmail account? You should if you don't, because that's everything we talked about is based off a Google login. But you could type in anything you want in here, clear an alert, and it'll send you all this data every day. Here's another important one, trends. These are all links in the thing. So trends, Fayette, let's do Fayette County, PA. This is analytics without you really getting into it. So this is telling me in the past day, interest over time in Fayette County, PA. It's also telling where a lot of this stuff is coming from. So West Virginia, Ohio, Maryland, New York is all interested in us. Makes sense, because they're probably going to come into our area. This is pretty interesting. So this is a great way to look and see your trend in your business based off the area, get some analytics, get some keywords, and then try to own that category. It's guiding you for it. It's like for me, now if you do, a lot of things you can do here is do over the year, and you should see a lot of what we see. The demographics of the time frame. This is just now. This is this year, sorry. Past 12 months. Past 90 days. But when you see the bike industry, you'll see a spike during the summer months, and it'll drop down, and you see now it's starting to go back up. I was looking last night, it's starting to go back up. People are starting to search for bikes. So this is a way to do some analytics without getting into the Google Analytics part. We talked about measure, and we did not talk about sustaining it. You can't just put the time in and not sustain it. And you wasted your money. Plus, everything online will know that you stopped. And when you stop, somebody else will take your real estate. So if you keep up with it and you gain that real estate, it's like physical real estate to me. You got to maintain it because there's somebody hungry out there waiting to do what you're doing. When you lose it, it's very hard to get it back. Just to be honest with you, I have that problem with that because I go dormant. Bike shops go dormant. There's no reason me spending on billboards, paid, and digital from November, December, and January. I really don't sell anything. Now I do some because I want to keep my name in there and keep in the system, but there's a certain level of that. Man, we didn't get into anything. Anyways, am I wrapping up or anybody sticking around? No? You are for a little bit? This is all on a QR code. Kathy, will you send it out?
Yes.
That is a bit.ly link. And these questions could be answered at a different time too. I knew this was going to happen. But here's some questions to ask yourself too. What makes you different and why are you different? What is your budget? Your timeline and goal? Who's going to write your content? Sometimes it's not you. How often do you post? Usually 2 times a day is what people are saying, and there's certain times for that. How are you going to measure it? How will you adapt to feedback? That's not burn someone's house down. What's your customer acquisition cost? I will spend $100 to sell a bike. I don't know what it would cost for you guys. Your contracts are a little bit different. How can you get backlinks, not just begging for them? And when should you boost your posts, which we went over that. The tools PDF is intense. And I'm just going to put it up real quick so you guys see it, and then we can talk about that at a different time. This guy right here, is it up?
Yeah, it went away.
It's back up? Okay. So this is crazy. So we got Google Analytics, SurveyMonkey. You guys have probably used some of that before. That's usually free. Canva, Grammarly is a free plugin. So when you're writing blogs, it'll edit you and correct you a few times. It's free. This one, everyone see my circle mouse? I like it. It is very good price. It'll do the hashtags and research in it for you when you make a post, and it'll post on all 12 platforms for you. This is the one I use now. Hootsuite, too much pay. And Buffer is more if you're like a coder. But this one is awesome. Hotjar. So Hotjar is a plugin you can put on your website, and it'll heat map your entire website. And you know where people's the mouse is at, and how far they get on the page. You wouldn't believe how much you'll build a website that's this long, and people are on your first page, and they scroll no farther than the fold. The fold is where your website goes down below, and they have to scroll to see it. 85% of people never go below the fold. So we create these massive websites, and they already found out what they needed. The person that stays on your site and clicks through, then you obviously did something right on your website. So the fold is where the screen and your keyboard meet. It's unreal how much, 85%. Yeah. I always tell everybody there's a level of perfection where there's a lack of profit. You could sit there for years and make your website, and I would have still visited it and bought something no matter what. So be careful with that. MailChimp's an emailer. Bitly is awesome. Shortens your links, and you can track every link you share with somebody. Google Maps, this would have been a 3-hour conversation. But if you're not on Google Maps and you don't have your business found on there, it's the most immediate thing for you to do right now. Because first of all, they don't know how to get to you. Second of all, you can't get Google reviews and your hours. Everybody uses Google Maps when they search. And it's all based on the app or maps.google.com now. There's no more of the manager. Apple Business Connect, easy. Go on that, list your business. It's free. Yelp, free. These are all backlinks to you guys. Waze, you have to use the app. And we went over this, the GPT world. I don't know if anybody's messing with the automation and the AI. It's great for research. And if you have Office 365, Copilot, did you ever see that pop up on Internet Explorer now? It's 4.0. So you can ask Copilot to give you the top 10 trending keywords for a blog post, and it will give them to you because it can search the web. The original version, ChatGPT 3 point something, cannot search the web. We went over news alerts, trends. This one's pretty popular here. Alt hashtags. This is you Instagrammers and everybody else. So if I went in here right now and I did electric bikes, and again, this thing is all in there for you. It'll produce all the hashtags that are popular or generating right now. Let's do top.
Can you put the QR code up again, Steve? I missed it.
Yeah.
So Steve, you're gonna send me everything.
It's on here. Kathy, get this right here. You got your phone? I'll send it to you. I'll send this to you, but the PowerPoint, the links document, and the SEO document's all in the Google Drive that I have, and that QR code takes you there, but it's a bit.ly link too, so we can see who's all downloading
You
it.
send all that to me, I'll send it out to everybody.
I'll send you the link.
Contact and,
Yeah.
along with the survey and.
Yep. See any more phones up.
You mentioned Canva on your list there.
Canva, I love Canva.
Just as FYI for everyone, we are having a Canva 101 happening here in this training center on May 15th. And it's presented by Wendy, who is sitting over there.
Oh, cool.
Leave early.
It's
So
good.
Just mark your calendars.
Super powerful. Photoshop and everything else can be light, all the Illustrator is overwhelming. We used it but Canva will do mostly what you need. My ad that I made for the Go Lower Highlands Destination Guide, I did it through Canva. Google Ads, another one. Moz is great for search keywords. Page speed. Anybody ever type their website in the page speed thing and see if you're okay? If it takes more than 3 or 4 seconds, Google's not indexing you very well. So if you have heavy, unresized images on your website, it's not going to be good. So page speed is huge with Google. This is the most powerful one. I've used this for the last 16 years and they keep it out there. Small SEO tools. If you go to it, it's an aggregate site of this guy who has every SEO tool that you could possibly use to get your website out there and to do your research. Here's a little tip and trick. If you write a blog, a piece of content, and you want to get it out there quicker, there's a thing called pingdom. So you take your blog, you stick it in this site, you stick the category, and you click go. It sends out ping requests to your blog from like 400 sites. Google sees that and says, oh, must be some traffic going to your blog, and it instantaneously starts getting it indexed in Google to be a known blog for search engines. So there's a lot of weirdo tricks and stuff in here, which is a whole nother conversation for this. So I am done, not even close, but I didn't know where to begin or where to end. That's the problem. But I think everyone got a good view that there's a lot of things you can do. It's going to take some time that really increase your presence. And please get a hold of the chamber and tell us what you would like to see next and how we can make it. We went through like 7 days worth of stuff real quick over top, but we need to get a little more granular. But you also got to look at what you got going on, website and stuff like that. See if it's even in place so you're not spending money and wasting your money. Any questions? No? I appreciate you guys coming. Thank you. Sorry we didn't get through it all.